Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light. When your day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright. We appear to be live. I'm going to operate on the assumption that we're live. I'm going to operate on the assumption everybody can hear me. So we've all seen this before. This is Jose Maria de Castro's first amended complaint in California. California, as people should be aware, is my stomping ground. I spend quite a bit of time in California state courts. Specifically, I spend most of my time in Sacramento County Superior Court and Placer County Superior Court. I have been in lots and lots of other county superior courts within probably about I've been down as far as Fresno. I've been north as far as Butte County. I've been in just about I've been in Alameda County, Contra Costa County, San Mateo County. I have not been in state court in San Francisco County. I'm muffled. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's all my fat getting in the way of being muffled. And then I've obviously, Placer goes all the way up to the Nevada County line, but I've been in like Sierra County, Nevada County, all sorts of counties. So yeah, so El Dorado County. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Merb muff. That's right, my fupa. So I have an idea of what goes on in California state courts, procedurally speaking. And so hopefully I can shed some light on what is wrong with what Jose is doing and what is right with what Jose is doing. So, anywho, without further ado, we are going to jump to this bad boy right here. This is a proof of service of summons, and has been served on Daniel Clement, aka John Doe. Now, what is wrong with this? Well, this was served on 2/24/2023, and this was filed. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to zoom in. The first amended complaint was filed on March 14th, 2023. So this was filed maybe 3 weeks before the amended complaint came out. In the original complaint, Dan Clement, aka John Doe, was not a party. So he does not have notice that he has been served. He's not been served with any lawsuit that he has been named in. So let me switch you back over to this one. So he's not been served in any lawsuit that he's been named in yet. You also can't serve someone as an AKA John Doe. The summons has to state the name of the person on the summons, has to state the name of the person, or else it's not effective. Let me see if I can pull up. There is a, what is that form called? Additional parties summons California. There is a additional parties attachment. It is, let me show this tab. There is this is the additional parties attachment. It's summons -200A, and you can list additional parties on the summons right here, attach it to the summons form. So yes, you have to have everybody named on the summons itself in order to serve them. So if their name isn't on the summons, then they're not served. They have to have the name out. They have to be named in the complaint, and they have to be named on the summons. I mean, these are simple things, but they're important. So now we have a declaration of diligence. This is by a William Dewsnap, who apparently attempted to serve, I'm going to guess this is Kate, since this was back when, no, I guess this is was filed the day after he filed the after Chilli filed the amended complaint. Yeah, Kate Peters. So apparently 47 Avery Street, apartment 1 is not a good address. Apparently Kate resides on 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street. That doesn't sound made up at all. Yeah. Anyway, so typically the way a declaration of diligence, well, let's go with the reason for a declaration of diligence. Let's go to civil actions, and let's go to 415-ish. So typically the way you want to serve something, typically, at least within the state of California, is you want to actually hand a copy of the summons that says their name on it and the complaint to them. That's generally speaking the best way to do it. That way there's no questions from anybody as to whether or not they've been served. Now, if they want to play some stupid game, like, I'm not taking it, it doesn't matter. You just toss it at their feet and they've been served. They don't actually have to accept it. You've handed it to them. You've done your best. Now, if a copy of the summons and complaint can't be served with reasonable diligence, personally, then you could do what's called substituted service. This is again within the state of California, but you need that reasonable diligence. And that reasonable diligence, well, you have to prepare and file a declaration. And in this case, it's a declaration of ray diligence. There's no specific form for it. This appears to be some local form, PSI-DD. This appears to be some local form, or somebody else made a form for it. But this isn't an actual, like a judicial council form from the state of California. So, but it's fine. I mean, it says like what you did typically, and it's going to depend on any local rules that are in play. It's going to depend on whether or not the judge, if this ever gets challenged, thinks that you've done all the things that you need to do. Typically, you want to go on 3 separate days at 3 different times of day. That way, if they're home in the morning, you've tried the morning. If they're home in the afternoon, you've tried in the afternoon. If they're home in the evening, you've tried in the evening, so that you're not, you don't want to go at the same time every day. And it looks like he's gone 2 different times at least. He's gone 3 different days. So that's, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like he has done his diligence. So what this would have allowed him to do, generally speaking, is it would have allowed him to, where were we at? We're here, share this tab instead. It would allow him to leave, summons may be served by leaving a copy of the summons and complaint at the person's dwelling house with the person 18 years of age who's informed of the contents thereof, and then mailing a copy of the summons and complaint by first class mail, postage prepaid, to the person to be served at the same place. So you've handed it to someone who's 18 years old plus at the home, and then you've mailed a copy to them at the home. So that's where a declaration of diligence comes in. Now, there's additionally, if you're going to serve by publication, if on affidavit that they can't be served with reasonable diligence. So those are the 2 ways that you could tend to go about, or those are the 2 reasons why you would use a declaration of diligence. Generally speaking, those are the 2 reasons why you would. So we have our declaration of diligence, and then we have this is a fun one, request for entry of default to clerk regarding Daniel Clement. This is not a judicial council form. Now, later on, we will see a declaration of non-service. Here we go. This is a request for default. This is a legitimate one, and you'll see right down here, it says form adopted for mandatory use. Mandatory meaning you don't get to you don't get to pick whether or not you use it. It is mandatory. So uh, the this request for entry of default to clerk regarding Daniel Clement, that is completely stupid. Um, it does say that he mailed the first amended complaint to Daniel Clement. However, mailing is only valid so once you've served someone the initial complaint that shows that they're actually a party, a complaint and summons, it shows they're a party to the action. Then, after you have a legitimate service on them, they've been served process properly. Once you have that, then if you do amend the complaint, then you can serve that by mail. Just mail it to them because now they're already a party. You don't have to go through the, excuse me, you don't have to go through the process of handing it to them physically. The problem in this case is that Daniel Clement was not served ever properly, and so a service by mail is not going to work. And it's interesting. It's like he's trying to adapt what he's been doing in federal court to state court. It is an interesting process to see him doing it without actually reading. There's a lot of different things that he would need to understand. Not only is there the California Code of Civil Procedure, there's also the California Rules of Court, and then there are local rules, all of which he really should be somewhat familiarized with so he doesn't make silly mistakes like this. And then this is supposed to be centered, so this is just kind of weird. He's doing his own thing. He's having fun. All right, and then oddly enough, the request for default was rejected because it wasn't on the right form. And there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, our intrepid hero has done another proof of service. This is on Michael Berrettini. And this was done at substituted service. And we've just read that. We're going to need the declaration of diligence. It has to be the home address. And then there's William Doe, who accepted the service. A blonde-haired white male, 5'6" to 5'8", weighing 160 to 180 pounds. Blonde hair does not sound like Piratini, so I don't know if that's the correct address or not. Interesting. It says it's at the home. It has attached the declaration of diligence, and it says I hereafter caused to be mailed copies of the documents. Documents were mailed on. Oh, there's a declaration attached. Okay, they've done a little Xbox there with interesting stuff. So he was notice of the person served. He was served as an individual defendant. Interesting. That's interesting. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I would have X'd this box right here, and I would have put in. I would have put in. I would have put in CCP 415.20 because it wasn't actual Piratini who was served. It was apparently someone else. So they don't have 415.20, so I would have put an X here on the other, and I would have written 415.20 CCP. So it looks like Chilli spent $85 dues to get this served. She's from Washington, so she's probably not a registered California process server, and she declared it perfectly just fine there. Seems like very, very professional. Interesting. All right, and then we have another declaration. This is a weird one. So the declaration is normally going to be filled out by the person who has done the due diligence, because obviously De Castro has no firsthand knowledge of the days that the service attempts were made. He has no firsthand knowledge of the times the attempts for service were made, and he has no firsthand knowledge of who was talked to on any of these attempts. So this is weird. I guess Chilli just wanted to put this in there to show that Piratini has knowledge of it. The problem is that he has to actually be served. He can't just have knowledge of it. He has to be served. He has to be served. So there are specific ways that he can be served, and it's not just that he has knowledge of the lawsuit. He actually has to be served. So he's talking about a restraining order. He's talking that he mailed a copy of the complaint and summons with a notice and acknowledgement of receipt. He says an acknowledgement of service. It's normally a notice and acknowledgement of the receipt. Notice and acknowledgement of receipt. Oh, oops, share this tab. So this is what he should have sent. I don't know what he believes he sent. This is again a form for mandatory use. So I don't know what Chilli's talking about when he says a notice of or an acknowledgement of service. This is a notice and acknowledgement of receipt. So yeah. Let's see, where were we? We were here. A self-addressed stamped envelope with forwarding service. You did not respond. It was forwarded. Did not return the acknowledgement and understood. Piratini did not return the acknowledgement and understood what acknowledgement was being referred to when contacted about it on 3/4/2023. So the thing with the notice and acknowledgement of receipt is it's a voluntary thing. Theoretically, if you are asked to accept a notice and acknowledgement of receipt, then and you do so, then awesome, everybody's happy. If you say no, then the plaintiff will have to attempt to serve you and could theoretically recover the costs of that service if you don't accept the notice and acknowledgement of receipt. So he's not obligated to do so. He recorded a 2 hour and 40-minute long video going over and reading plaintiff's first amended complaint in the immediate action. Wow. Well, good for him. But has he been served is going to be the question. ABC, they did substituted service, yada, yada. I verify there are no records of sale for the above property, whatever. Anyway, the question is, has he been served? Now, I am going to guess that this proof of service will most likely hold up. It will most likely hold up. So I'm going to guess this is going to be most likely acceptable for substituted service. Now, could Piratini come in and say that, well, I actually don't live there, this is the wrong address, and show some proof that like he's renting out the address or renting out that home or what have you? Sure, probably could. But like just enough to get a default judgment. This is most likely going to be sufficient. And then we have show this tab instead. Now we have a declaration of non-service. This was one of the prior attempts. So it looks like for each attempt, Chilli is getting charged the full beans of $85 dues. So if there were 3 attempts, then that would be quick math. That would be $255 roughly. Oh boy, I'm going to get comments or something about my quick math. I know that. So then we have a request for entry of default. This is on the complaint filed 2/6/23. This isn't on the first amended complaint, so that's interesting. He wants default on Daniel Clement, aka John Doe. Now, this name, Daniel Clement, aka John Doe, would have to appear in the complaint filed 2/6 of 2023. It would have to literally say Dan Clement, aka John Doe, because what the clerks are some interesting animals, and they have their little cheat sheet. They're like cops. They have their little cheat sheet. These are the rules. They're dumbed down. I'm not saying clerks are dumb, but the rules are simplified. They don't go by the code of civil procedures and all these other things. They've got a cheat sheet. They've got a list. And they go down the list. And one of the things that list is going to say is, does the name of the person who the default would be entered against, does it appear exactly as it's listed on the request for default? Does it appear that way on the complaint that's referenced? That's one of the things they're going to ask. And this is not a thing. So that's an oopsie doodle. Now, he's only requested default. He's not entered a request for clerk's judgment or court's judgment. Now, I am not going to advise or indicate which way Chilli should go. But at this point, he's only seeking entry of default. There's two distinct things. There's the entry of default, which just essentially cuts off the amount of time the defendant has to respond to the complaint. The case is basically over, except for judgment. Judgment is the only thing left outstanding. And so you get the default, and then you can go after the default judgment. And there's a clerk's judgment and a court's judgment, and Chilli's going to have to figure out which way to go on that. But he's only asking for the entry of default. So if he was going for judgment, he would have checked like clerk's judgment or court's judgment. If it was a court judgment, he would have checked this box and filled out the name of the person again. If it was for clerk's judgment, he would have checked this box and he would have picked the appropriate thing. He would have entered the amounts of judgment along with whatever is applicable, like interests, costs, attorney's fees, if applicable, daily damages, if applicable. And then he would have gone back here. Now you can see this is highlighted. He did not check whether or not a legal document assistant or unlawful detainer assistant assisted in the preparation. Probably did not, because it was not filled out correctly. If one had actually assisted him, it probably would have been filled out correctly. That's all I'm going to say there. Now this one I have fought with clerks before. This is a declaration under Code of Civil Procedure, section 585.5 for entry of default under Code of Civil Procedure 585A. That's important, and clerks never seem to recognize that. They've got their little checklist, and they just want to march along the checklist. Now, 585A is for clerk's judgment. You know what? We can actually go to 585A. We're going to share this tab instead. And we're going to go to Code of Civil Procedure, and this is in of civil actions. And we're going to go down to 585, judgment upon failure, 585A. In an action arising upon contract, et cetera, if they've been served and they fail to answer, then the clerk, upon written application of the plaintiff, proof of service of summons, shall enter the default of the defendant or defendant so served, and immediately thereafter enter judgment for the principal amount demanded in the complaint. So this is not just entering default. This is default with clerk's judgment, 585A. Now, he has not requested, Chilli has not requested the judgment. So this section is not applicable, and I have argued with clerks, and I've gotten them to accept it without it. I have since learned that it's just better just to check the fucking boxes. You know what I'm saying? Because you file it, they reject it. Now you've wasted however long it's taking you to get it back. You know, the time it took them to review it and then reject it and send it back. So you've wasted all that time. And then you can call them up on the phone and they'll be like, well, fine, then just submit it and we'll let the judge figure it out. And you submit it and the judge doesn't give a shit and everything's fine, right? So you can waste all that time, or you can check the boxes. Discretion is the better part of valor, so you just check the boxes. The memorandum of costs would be required if you're going to try to get the costs up here. Costs, the 2D judgment to be entered. He is not seeking judgment yet. And the declaration of non-military status. This is again just required if you're seeking judgment. He would have to fill that out and sign and date. All right. Well, as you guessed it, 1A's wrong date as to amended. Go figure. 1C match name and complaint, as I suspected, and 4 and 5 are incomplete. What was 4? Just so I remember. The legal document assistant. All right. So 4 and 5 are incomplete. Well, then he goes for round 2. Again, he's just seeking entry of default. So he has the first amended complaint filed there. That's he's changed the date. This now matches the name in the complaint. He's still not seeking clerk's judgment. It's not checked up here. It's not checked down here. There's no amounts of judgment to be entered. He did check the box for the unlawful detainer assistant or legal document assistant. He didn't check this box, which, that's fine. That's perfect. And he checked those just because, well, the clerk was being a douche canoe. I feel your pain. There is practicing law is hard enough without having to fight against the clerks. That's a loose quote from a court of appeals, California Court of Appeals. So anyway, here's an interesting thing. He apparently declared all of this on 3/28/2023 when he mailed this out on 3/29/2023. So that's kind of weird. It looks like it was filed on 3/29. So, all right. But he declared that he mailed it out on 3/29 on 3/28, which is kind of weird and odd. But anyway, there you go. We'll see if they kick it back. I haven't actually looked at all these. And this says just no proof of service on the proof of service of the amended complaint is needed. We have not seen that. Oop, share this tab. So we have not seen proof of service on the amended complaint. So yeah, Daniel Clement needs to be served the amended complaint with a summons that says Daniel Clement's name on it, or else the service is not going to be in compliance with the California Code of Civil Procedure. So thus endeth the review. Now we're going to go to our traditional name shaming and naming session where I read comments until I just can't handle it anymore. New Merb, oh joy. No, it's the same Merb, different day. This after Gunner TV, awesome. What a great week this turned out to be. Yeah, I saw a clip of the Gunner TV thing where I guess Gunner TV was responding to Chilli threatening him. Yeah, I mean, so the threat to sue someone loses a lot of its teeth once you realize that Chilli doesn't know exactly what to do after he's filed the lawsuit. Like he has no idea. His Ohio case is stalled. His Massachusetts case is stalled in federal court. This case, obviously, he's having some serious issues trying to get anything run through. He can sue. He sure can sue. But really, the only person who's paying any fees at all so far in the California case, he paid $435 to file his complaint. So he's out that money. He's paid $255 at least on service on Piratini, Blue Bacon. So that's $96.90. And then who knows how much the Massachusetts guys charged him. So I mean he's racking up them costs plus whatever mailings are costing him. We use the restroom next time. Gunner TV was brutal. Yeah, Gunner TV was. Chilli is definitely a loser. Live from 34th Street. 34th Street represent. Oh goodness, we would have no entertaining reality TV without Chilli, and no real good filings either. I got my trifold ready, and I'm going to take notes. It's indestructible, apparently. Zenny Optical failed him. Sorry. Better use your indestructible pen to write on your indestructible trifold. That's words of wisdom right there. Live. Lolmax muted. No way, Pedro. Sound a bit muffled, but clear and loud. Fake Good afternoon, everyone. Merb Muff. It's the best kind of muff. Yeah, you're in Cali. Get on with it, Murby, and stop showcasing your brilliance. I can't showcase what I don't have. Shit, Mike. Yes, indeed. It's up my ass, which is why it sounds like shit. Sound is fine. Yeah, you sound different. Good morning. Sorry. Uh, cheers. It's a little early for drinking, but it's always afternoon somewhere, right? I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Yeah, Merb. You hang around courts. Chili hangs at truck stops. I don't see the pint. I'd love a pint right now. HFTCD. No idea what that means. Chili wrong? Impossible. Invest in the new 2024 Quad Fold, new and improved. Sounds amazing. Hi, Merb. Good to see you. Good to see you too, BioExplorer. So he was served with the wrong complaint. I don't like Merb being coy like this. Yeah, he was apparently served the original complaint, and the original complaint didn't list Dan Clement on it. So, and the summons wouldn't have listed Dan Clement on it because the complaint didn't list Dan Clement on it. So Dan Clement, at the time he was served, was like, "Hey, thanks for the piece of paper. It doesn't have my name on it anywhere. How about you go fuck yourself?" And rightfully so. But Dan Clement is still a piece of shit. Shamrock, Devil Horns, Purple Heart. Okay. Hey, wave, and a cat party, I guess? I don't know. Hey, wave. What major corporation will Chili add to this lawsuit? Oh, that's a good question. Hold on a second. Maybe the people who manufacture the bear spray that Clement used, because it might have been used on Chili. I don't know. Is everything blurry? Probably. You've been drinking too much. Has he ever been countersued? Why would anybody countersue him? The dude doesn't have anything. The dude has nothing. Like, there's no point in it. There's literally no point in it. If you get a default judgment against him, then what? Like, he could literally just ignore it, and then you get a default judgment, and then he's like, yeah, and what? What are you gonna do? Repossess his friend's car? No, you can't repossess his friend's car. Oh, you're gonna foreclose on his house. Oh wait, he doesn't have one. You're gonna levy his bank accounts. Like, what are you gonna do? Garnish his wages? What are you gonna do? Ha! But Chili served it on two names, one real and one alias. So Chili trumped the California laws, probably. Good evening from Bulgaria. Well, good evening to you, Mr. Jackson. If blurry, try increasing the quality to 720p. I don't honestly even know if I'm streaming at 720p. I don't know. Doesn't even matter. Chili's auditing videos get a lot of views. He'd be better off spending time doing that as opposed to writing lawsuits. Well, he probably makes a lot more money off the auditing videos than he does off of the lawsuits. That's for sure. Am I late to the party? There's a party in my pants. Everybody come in and have a ball. I have posted my like. Well, you are an amazing person, Mr. Jackson. Just getting started. Diligence, Chili, impossible. No, Philip, you're not late. Merb is still beating around his bush. Don't narc me out. Do not narc me out. All right. Overturn cherry versus Pop Tart. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the cherry Pop Tarts. Merb is really milking the drama in all this. Yes, I am a drama queen. Everyone tickle the like button. It doesn't really matter to me. Is that where the term lol cow comes from? I get it. Milking the drama. Sure, there you go. By the way, I am inter alter, a law tuber. I'm familiar with inter alia, but I'm not familiar with inter alter. My Latin is as terrible as my looks, I guess. I don't know. Diligence in Chili does not belong in the same sentence. You know, if you're going to accuse someone else of being bad with their diligence, you should probably spell check yourself. I'm just guessing. Just guessing. Chile esquire. Sorry, inter alter. Autocorrect. Yeah, I'm still drawing a blank on that. Yes, Shiva. Only normally we milk the lol cow for our entertainment, while Merb appears to be milking us for his perceived brilliance. Yes, I perceive myself to be very brilliant because I understand how to do things like take a default judgment, things like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is really this is like 140 IQ stuff right here. Paralegals normally handle this kind of stuff in most firms, in real, what I like to call real law firms, where they actually have paralegals. Chilli is just looking for an easy way to get money. He does not want to earn it, in my opinion. Well, this does not appear to be an easy way to get money, Nikki. This appears to be a very hard way because to date, Chilli has earned none monies and he has spent a lot more than none monies. So this does not appear to be a money-making endeavor by Chilli. Laura, I hear you. I'm quite indifferent, this drama stuff. How do we know if we are one of the does asking for a friend? Well, eventually he would have to amend his complaint to add you to change one of the does to you. Still Chilli silly. Jack, you'll get a summons that says Jack, aka John Doe. That's how you know. That's probably, well, I mean, that would inform you that an amended complaint is coming, I guess. The drama as the world pukes, lol. Through YouTube copyright system, Laura. Probably not through copyright. World puke, yummy. Lol Shiva. Big eyes? I know I shall be castigated for this when Merb reads all these, but guys, we have 165 watching, only 35 likes. Come on, guys, we're getting free legal advice. How often does this happen? None of this has been legal advice. This has just been kind of procedural issues. Nope, Jack, but I'm still confused by Merb's plotting through all of this. Well, because I hadn't read it yet and I wanted to read it. How about that? Am I allowed to read it and understand it a little bit? Am I allowed to do that? I liked it. Well, good. Same here, Laura. With all this actual real life issues going on, this silly Chilli stuff is a decent laugh. I'm glad you're laughing. I'm not plotting. Thank you. I'm doing it thoroughly. Thank you. Would you want a hasty lawyer? Probably not. You get what you pay for. Did you take Google YouTube off the lawsuit, or does he now have two active lawsuits on California and one in Massachusetts? I believe he only has one active lawsuit in California, one in Massachusetts, and one in Ohio. I believe. I don't believe he has added. He has not added. He's not added YouTube to the California state lawsuit. I didn't hire Merb, Philip, and I'll be right back because my bathroom break can't wait. I hope everything came out all right. I'd hire Merb if I had money. He seems like a good lawyer. Well, looks can be deceiving. Chilli is going to represent me on a slip and fall case. He only charges $20,000 for the retainer. Slip and fall cases. People always think that slip and fall cases are these winners. Like, I went into Safeway and I slipped on a grape. And like, I mean, they're not. They're often not winners. Did he take YouTube off his lawsuit? Oh, hold on a second. Did you ask the same thing twice? Why would you do that? What is William Doe? Is he John's brother? Sure. No. Perhaps a channel more kid-friendly is more your speed, Jack and Laura. This video needs someone screaming, Jeff hates figs. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm not sure, Jose. I can't wait for Merb to interview Chilli. That'd be interesting. I'd talk to the man. He won't talk to me, though, because he's homophobic. Is he interviewing him? That's a lot of pronouns. Michael Piertini in a blonde toupee. That'd be funny. If he pulled out all of his acting chops and he answered the door with his Kermit the Frog voice and a blonde wig on. That'd be hilarious. Reaction vids / explanation vids are typically less convoluted and much less rambling. Yes. Overturn scary versus tomato. Screw you, JJ. My bladder gets irritable when it has to wait on Merb. That's all. Well. Hey, Merb, pink hand waving. Hey, Natasha, pink hand waving. I don't screw on first chat. Well, you should. Get it out of the way. Okay, I'm bored. Poop time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Don't drink and type, JJ. I just finished pooping. Well, that's important. Thank you for letting us all know. This whole chain shows that Chilli is fractally stupid. Yes, he is. Lol, I do like that Chilli felt compelled to throw in a dig at Bacon with the Dr. Phil reference. Merb, would Blue Bacon having a protection order against Chilli get in the way of services? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think California would care. I really don't think California would care. Peratini might try to bring some sort of a contempt, but typically, like having a process server, like would that be an indirect communication? I don't think so. I'd have to look. I don't think so. I would guess no. It might be if there was a protection order and the lawsuit was without merit, then it might be a violation of the protective order. I think that would turn on a more factual understanding of what the finder of fact actually comes up with. It's not really a legal question. That'd be more factual. Is Merb interviewing Chilli? Not to the best of my knowledge. And I must say, I usually exit videos that long intros myself. Okay. Chilli making a mistake? Never. No, he doesn't do that. Chilli would have to hire someone to serve it. Yes. Well, you can never serve your own summons and complaint. It always has to be someone who's not a party to the action, over the age of 18, et cetera, et cetera. I have created an igloo type structure made entirely of indestructible trifolds. It is impervious to legal service. That is pretty impressive. And I think you should sell the plans for it. I mean, obviously they'd have to buy the indestructible trifolds from Chilli, but you could sell plans on how to assemble the indestructible trifolds into an indestructible, impervious to legal service shelter. God, Chilli is so petty. Piratini has a history of lying about his identity, even gasp to Dr. Phil. I mean, we're expecting Chilli not to be petty at this point. I don't drink, Jack. Well, do you drink Jim? A little Jim Beam, no Jack Daniels. I was told that Jack Daniels smelled like bananas, and I used to drink Jack Daniels. And once I was told it smells like bananas, now I smell bananas every time I smell Jack Daniels, and I just can't drink it because I'm always smelling bananas. Cheeky, I was thinking along the lines of the lawsuit if service against Blue would violate the protection order. Again, I don't know. I don't think California would care. Considering Dr. Phil's lying about being a doctor seems fair. Doesn't he have a PhD? Maybe, maybe not. I don't remember. Maybe review the documents prior to hitting record, Merv, but we all want to know you would never want to save us or yourself anytime meandering. You know what? How about this? How about you watch someone else's review of them? Because I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. How about that? How about that? How about it? It would have Chilli tried to serve himself. Again, he can't. It does seem quite fair, Internet God, and it made me giggle, so there's that. Why only 30 does? I guess you can't sue screen names. He could technically have put as many doses as he wanted to on there, but at a certain point, if you start trying to add all those does, the court is probably going to start like bifurcating it or turn it into a class action of some sort. So I don't think it's going to say AKA John Doe on Daniel's driver's license either. Probably not. He identifies as a doctor. Okay. I'm sure that's a Dr. Phil reference. He has a Dr. Wright. It's like a Dr. Pepper, but it's a Dr. Wright. Chilli identifies as a constipated law scholar. Big deal. Yes. In philosophy. Oh, he has a doctorate. Dr. Phil has a doctorate in philosophy. My parents loved Dr. Phil. I couldn't stand the man. Who is Daniel Clement? He's the chubby guy who bragged online about going to stalk Chilli, and then followed him around, apparently carrying a tape measure, zip ties, and bear spray, like he was going to measure Chilli or something like that. And then when Chilli decided to get aggressive, Daniel ran away like a screaming little bitch. That's who Daniel Clement is. Chilli identifies as a constitutional law scholar. Indeed. Chilli has no credentials proving his claim to being a scholar. Scholar, I don't think is something you have to have credentials for. I don't think there's anybody handing out scholar credentials. I often wonder what happened to Chilli that left him so emotionally damaged and mentally unstable. Who knows, man? Like the guy has a long history of crime, which I mean that might be some psychological issues from early on. I I mean he's got a long history of criminal and substance abuse because he got like a DUI, I think, in Alaska. He's got a lot of, I don't know, who knows. It's all guessing. It's all guessing. Chili's not a law scholar. He's not a good one anyway. Chili needs a job. Agree. Nah, fudge packer who works in a manufacturing plant that makes candy. What do you got against fudge packers? Nothing's wrong with a nicely packed fudge. I think Daniel's the guy who confronted Chili one night while Chili was copper watching, and like, God, I hate that. Like, Chili has made me hate the word copper. Daniel brought a tape measure for Chili to a fight, and then had a gangbanger protect him. Quite the drama as Chili went dark. Yeah, you're kind of glossing over Daniel being the bitch in that situation too. Daniel was the initial bitch. So in the hierarchy of dominant males, the gangbanger was definitely the alpha, and Chili was the beta. And what would that make Daniel? The delta? Gamma? Whatever. Chili doesn't even know who wrote the Constitution. Does it matter? I think it was staged. I don't. Lowell and ran back to his car. Merb, will Chili get a break on the rules because he's pro se? Probably not. Clerks don't really give a fuck if you're pro se. A judge might be more lenient, but clerks, no. Clerks, they've got their checklist. Boy, howdy. Right or wrong, they've got their checklist. It was a strange meeting. Indeed, it was. Good question. For a legal scholar, he certainly seems to get a lot wrong. This is procedural. These are procedural issues. So I'm going to give him a bit more of a break on procedural issues than legal issues. And the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, doesn't have a lot to do with what he's suing these people for in California state court. So if he's a constitutional law scholar neglecting all the other areas of law, I can understand why he would be having a lot more difficulty. I'm not too sure, JJ. Well, I believe Chili's problem started when his father was sent to prison at a young age. We are up and doomed to repeat the mistakes of our parents. Maybe. Young men growing up in single mother households don't tend to do well. They tend to do very poorly. Flagging errors gives the clerks power, and you want to strip that away from them. Or yeah, I do, because a lot of times they're wrong. And they really drive me fucking nuts because I'm an actual attorney and I know what the fuck I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and accept the goddamn pleading. I have learned, I learned very quickly that you can force a clerk to take a filing on demand, and the clerk will accept it. They'll be all upset and they'll stamp with a big red "accepted on demand" stamp. Just to show that it's got a red stamp on it. The judge is going to kick it away. Never had a judge kick one off yet. But I know what I'm doing. And I've read the statutes. I've read the rules. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know why I'm doing it. And they're like, oh, but it's not on my checklist this way. I'm like, well, I'm not doing what's on your checklist. So how about you go fuck off? And they don't like that. So anyway. Never fuck with clerks. They'll ruin your day. So if you are going to fuck with a clerk, do it with a smile. Be nice about it. Be like, no, I'm going to have to insist that you accept it on demand, because every time you see or interact with that clerk from that point on, they will remember you. And if you're a dick about it, they're going to go over everything with a much finer tooth comb. Much finer tooth. I was speaking of the Daniel and Chili meet and greet. Yes. Among his other activities, videos, live streams, auditing coppers, etc., when is Chili time to do all this legal stuff? Well, apparently he normally gets spun up on something around 2, 3 in the morning. So I'm guessing that's when he's doing most of this stuff. Agreed, internet god. People with no job, no family to take care of, no responsibilities of home usually have plenty of spare time. There you go. Paul Bunyan. Okay. He got pretty close with his GHB charges, internet god. Threats to sue have more power if you've ever actually won a single case, but Chilli never will. But you see, Chilli's threat in the lawsuits is this is going to cost you money. On the oh shit, what happened to his name? Gunner, on the Gunner TV, he was saying this is going to cost you like $10,000 in legal fees. He wasn't saying I'm going to win $10,000 from you. It's just going to cost you. And there's always a cost associated with a lawsuit. So he knows. I think he knows he's not winning any of these. I think he's really just doing these as nuisance lawsuits. I know, JJ, I believe it was staged, but what do I know? Again, what do you know? True dat. Where's the blue bowl? In my pants. Chilli may not pay taxes as a homeless couch surfer, but at least he pays for filing federal and state lawsuits. There you go. Just LARPing again. What are the other cases waiting on? Are they waiting on Chilli? Well, I believe the Massachusetts case is waiting on Chilli. In the Massachusetts case, there is a pending motion where Earl has basically requested a motion for discovery on the court itself, which I don't think the court's going to address. And if the court does address it, it's just going to be an order denying it. But I don't even know if the court's going to address it. In reality, what the Massachusetts case is waiting on is Chilli's next amended complaint to add in other people and etc. Google doesn't have to respond until after the next amended complaint is filed, and nobody has anything really pending, so it's just sitting there on hold. I believe they should be doing a discovery plan, but until he files his next amended complaint, I don't think they're going to jump into that either. As far as the Ohio case is concerned, there is the pending motions to dismiss, I believe, that I think the court is reviewing, because they filed those back in like late February, if I remember correctly. So soon, I would guess, soon. The court's probably going to give Chilli plenty of time to respond. But yeah, that should be soon. In the California case, there's probably a case management conference set some point in the future where the court would be inquiring as to, how far along we are on everything and when we can set trial. But I don't know that Chilli's actually managed to serve anyone yet in that case, so I don't anticipate anything going ahead in the California case anytime soon either. I demand a LOL suit. Well, okay. Chilli also believes that Kate is actually head of the mafia. I don't think he believes that. I think he alleges that. No, his fans do, Laura. And then lots of hearts. Thank you, Maggie. Up, heart, and then hang loose. True dat, Nikki. Charlie, a.k.a. Moist Critical, found Chilli. This will be interesting to see if he does a deep dive. Oh, that's another one of those React guys. Well, it'll be interesting. I'm sure Chilli will enjoy the attention and free advertising. Hi, mate. Much love from Northern Ireland. I'm more of an Irish for the Irish kind of guy, and English can get out, but hey, that's just me, right? I am on Scotch and Marlboro Gold. Well, it sounds like you're having a wonderful evening, sir. Enjoy it. Happy Sunday, Merb. Merb's voice is. I don't know what that means. Could be potentially get a judgment against a doe before IDing them. No. No. You get a judgment against someone. No, because in order to get the judgment, you'd have to get the default. In order to get the default, you'd have to have service. In order to get the service, you have to know who they are. So no, absolutely not. Yeah, you cannot. Good question. It was a good question. Had to think about it. Merb, I've been watching the Daryl Brooks trial knee says clearly all the time, and I hear you in my head whenever he says that. I know. I hear it in my head whenever anybody else says it too. Merv's voice is sexy as fuck. Well, how you doing? That website has a lot of information about Maria. Didn't a property owner sue Cholito for back rent? Maybe. Hit his PayPal app. Somewhere on your screen, there's a link to my G-String account. Hit that. Chilli made over $1,000 when he was arrested. He should do that more often. Hard to have a party in your pants when he doesn't wear any. That is a good point. When I am wearing pants, there's a party in it. Chilli is a scholar of the Leu. Dear sir, show Chilli some respect. He's a constitutional law scholar and a hero. LMAO, I'm definitely being sarcastic. I couldn't have guessed that, crazy. I could not have guessed that you were being sarcastic. Thank you for informing me. I would have completely thought you were a Chilli fan otherwise. Hi, Shiz. I hope you have a good day as well. Merb can milk me. Well, don't mind if it do. Well done. Always appreciate your analysis. Thank you. $10 says Cholito could suck star to Harley. You know, he's got a lot of older friends that show him a lot of charity. So, yeah. Merb, you greasy yet some W. Okay. Shiz, I'm late. Did Merb stand up by any chance? You snooze, you lose. Lol, I'm so pleased I irritated Merby today. Well, congratulations. Merb, if both cases are stalled and Chilli doesn't do anything, can the court toss the cases out, or does Kate and the people in Ohio have to file for it for it to be tossed out? Well, there are pending motions to dismiss and motion to dismiss and a motion for summary judgment pending in the Ohio case. So assuming those get denied in the Ohio case, and assuming nothing else happens in the Massachusetts case, eventually what the court could do is the court could issue what's called an order to show cause as to why the case should not be dismissed for failure to prosecute. So yes, at some point the court could toss it, but it wouldn't just toss it. It would be like, here's an order to show cause. You have to appear on X date, X time, whatever, to explain why we shouldn't toss it, kind of thing. Hey, how late am I? You're so late. The baby's already been born. Sorry, no Vlad. Or sadly, no Vlad. Oh, about the standing up. Greasy, yet somehow also sticky, Merb. That's my special sauce. Hey, Merb, the Declaration of Diligence was signed in late February before the First Amendment was filed. Is service required a second time when a complaint is amended? So the initial the service of process has to be done once, and then you do want to serve the amended complaint if there is one. If you've already served the complaint and then you amend the complaint, then you can do what's called service by mail. It's a lesser form of service. You already have the address. You just mail it to them, and that's all that's required if they've already been served process, i.e. the summons and complaint. Thanks. What is the holdup with the Massachusetts federal suit? Chilli hasn't filed his next amended complaint. He is also truth-phobic. Okay. Cholito will offer to wrestle and subdue any defendant out in the gravel that asks him, and that includes any does, until, of course, such a time as he actually has to put up or shut up, in which case his high knee pressure kicks in. You know how much I can get for a slip and fall in the stow. Okay. Probably not a lot. You could have a pretty good estimation on how much those cases are worth by whether or not lawyers will accept them on contingency. For example, if you get into an auto accident where you're rear-ended, right? You go to a lawyer and you're like, hey, I want to sue the driver of the other car for my pain and suffering and my medicals. A lawyer will probably take that on contingency, i.e., you pay nothing until the case gets resolved. Because the lawyer knows, number one, I'm going to get paid. Number two, there are damages to pay me. And number three, liability is probably not an issue. See what happens if you go in to hire an attorney on a slip and fall case. The odds of them taking you on a contingency basis are somewhere between the slim and none range. Sharing is caring. That's how I feel about farts. I'm just learning. When Chilli sues the police, is that under Section 1983? Probably. If he sues the police, it would probably be a 1983 lawsuit. There may also be state causes of action. I don't know. I thought his protection order included no lawsuits. Well, the no lawsuits deal is he requested it, but that's only for certain circumstances where you've like domestic violence kinds of things. It wasn't. I read that section and it didn't apply to the case with Chilli, so I don't know if he got that particular section as far as his actual protective order. I've never seen the actual protective order, so I don't know. But again, I don't know how much California is going to care about that. That would be an interesting thing to find out. So yeah, thinking the same thing. I have my chat GHB law degree. I think MMO Moek is right. Whoops, I think MMO Mox is right. Maybe. I know he requested. I don't know if he got it. Would you ever go camping, share a tent with Chilli, and record the adventure? What happens in the tent stays in the tent. So, no. Merb, rather fight a horse-sized duck or 10 duck-sized horses? Yes. I am British but living in Bulgaria. You are okay. Do you have any Jewish lawyers in the USA? Yes. One of the lawyers that I work with is Jewish, and he's a good dude, and I like him. And you're British. What about Johnny Walker? Yeah. I'm not a fan of Johnny Walker. I'm not a Scotch guy. I've never much cared for Scotch. Chilli to Karen never fails to disappoint. Same old routine. Find a new grift to get money from his smooth-brained idiots. Buy his next load of drugs. Stay up at night creating legal nonsense. Well, probably. Chilita may want to ask that pathetic Jeremiah to serve his complaint. Maybe. Let me hear you say this. This shit is bananas, banana. This shit is bananas, bananas. Okay. If it's Jane Doe, shouldn't it be John Buck? I see what you did there. Good on you, sir. Chilito is not a tough guy. He is the biggest coward. I want to see that body cam of the Vegas cop slamming Chilito. Chilli actually, I'm not a Chilli fan. You may know this, but Chilli actually managed to stay on his feet for quite some time. And he did it without hurting the cop, which means that he has a good center of balance. He's reasonably strong. He's got a good sense of his body and leverage and things like that. So I would not poo-poo that Chilli has done MMA grappling, MMA style grappling and wrestling, because he probably has, and he's probably feeling his age at this point. But I wouldn't undersell him too much. There's a lot of big talkers on the internet, and Chilli managed to stay up with that cop for a fair minute, where the cop was trying to get him in cuffs. So, yep, Daniel is the big guy who goes to see Chilli in downtown LA. Then Chilli ran away from the other guy who looked a lot more menacing. Daniel didn't do anything but see where Chilli was on his live. I would say that Daniel did other things. That Daniel was a dumb piece of shit and a pussy. Dumb piece of shit and a pussy is a terrifying combination. A scholar is someone who uses intellectual and academic pursuits to set them apart from others by applying their expertise in a specific area of study. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. Keyword expertise. Just following intellectual pursuits is not enough. Well, again, that's just like your opinion, man. You found a definition that suits your needs. A scholar is someone who studies things. He studies the laws. He does it ineffectively, and he does it on the internet. But he can call himself a scholar. There's no. It's not like being a lawyer where or an attorney, I should say, where you actually have to have a law license, where a state actually has to give you a license to do it. A scholar is just someone who studies stuff. You could be an amateur scholar. You could do it. You could be a Google scholar. There's literally Google Scholar. So no, I reject your definition. But maybe watching a live stream, knowing where it is close to where you live, go over, have a look is now. But maybe watching a live stream, knowing where it is close to where you live, go over to have a look is now stalking. I didn't say it was stalking. I haven't made that particular legal conclusion. However, if I remember correctly, he went there. He was alleging that he went there with bear spray, tape measure, and zip ties. So, yeah, I mean, that's a stupid fucking thing to do. I grew up with a single mother, and I am a productive member of society. Well, there's always exceptions to every rule. So, and I'm glad that you think that you're a productive member of society. Always appreciate your point of view, Merb. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. Mark from Belgium calling in, and your name is literally Mark in Belgium. So I think that you're probably telling the truth, sir. If an amended complaint contains no change to substance or fact, why amend it in the first place? So you can amend it to add, to substitute in real parties for does. Hello, all. Happy Sunday, I think. Well, hello to you. When Chilli sues the police, is it yes? We've answered this. Smiley face back at you, Pants. A lawsuit against a police officer does not cost that officer a dime. Probably not. Probably not. Do you think Chilli will win against Kate? No. He could, but no, I don't think he will. Chilito keeps threatening to sue me, but I haven't been served yet. I'm on SSI, not sure what he wants. He probably wants to cost you money. If you are on SSI, if you don't have any assets and your only income is Social Security, you are probably what's called judgment proof. So if he does get a judgment against you, who the fuck cares? He won't be able to collect on it. Probably. Where's the link to your private jet account? Well, if you have to ask, you don't deserve a ride. I know Merb doesn't care a bit. Hit the like button anyway. I don't really care. Hi, folks. Lol, Izelle, Friday. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felica. Bye, Felica. Bye, Felica. I've been wanting to see how Chilli deals with Discovery. Yeah, that would be fun. I kind of hope he works on getting me sued, because Discovery would be a blast. Works on contingency, no money down. Not me. Well, if it's a personal injury for auto accident case, I will. Sorry for the repeated question. I thought my first one slipped by. Mea culpa. Yeah, well, I read them until I'm done reading them. There's 350 in the chat, but less than 20 likes. Come on, please. I don't care, dude. Okay. 100. That's great. Happy Sunday, Murby. Chilli's nothing more than an aging queen who's going through a midlife crisis. Oh, boy. Well, Mr. Sandwich, I know you like to come in here and spam shit like that, but unless you've had sexual relations with Chilli, maybe you shouldn't talk about him being an aging queen. Okay? It wasn't my opinion. It was a definition. Yes, it was a definition. It wasn't the definitive definition. Expert. X is in a has-been. Spurt is in a drip under pressure. Happy Panelist Sunday. Happy Panelists every day. Good night, and thank you for your content. Someone who knows what he's talking about on the internet is something of a novelty. Well, good night to you, sir. Enjoy your bourbon. Hey, Merb, you were right about Chilli's fetal alcohol syndrome. His face has all the markers. I think so, but I'm dumb. Merb, I have an assistant. What was that all about? That was all about Earl can't say S. And Earl likes to go into Discord servers and he'd do it under pseudonyms. And he'd like to hang out and gather all the dirt on people. So I had everybody say, Merb, I have an assistant, because if it was Earl, he'd be like, Merb, I have an assistant. And it was hilarious. To me, it was hilarious. But those days are long gone. I've researched child development. That research supports that a father's involvement is hugely important. The odds of any kid goes down without it. But yes, thankfully, there are exceptions. Yes, there are always exceptions. I like watching a guy by the name of Kevin Samuels. And he is a a black man who's all about getting black people to get married. And one of the reasons that he states that is that, like something like 80% of black kids grow up in single mother households, like it's just them and their moms. And the African American community back in the day, like back in the early 60s, had something like 80% marriage rates. They had much lower incarceration rates, much higher employment rates. I mean, everything was on a much better track, and something happened, and all of a sudden those numbers reversed. And according to Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, he it's like 1 in 4 black women get married or something like that. And anyway, it's causing a real crisis in the black community. There's I forget the exact, but it's something like the average reading level for young black men graduating high school is like 4th grade or something terrible. And I'm not saying this to like denigrate black people, but there is a real problem with single mother families. And I'm not trying to denigrate single mothers, that you're in the position you're in, and great. And that's, you do what you can with what you got. But yeah, having your dad go to prison and leaving your mom alone to raise a young man it's hard on the mom. It's hard on the young man. You end up emulating your father. You grow up, you learn how to be a man by watching your father. And, it's sad. It's sad. So if that's what happened to Chilli, then that's sad. And if it's not what happened to Chilli, then, okay. Chilli loves Rex Engelbert. I don't know that reference, but okay. Do you think Chilli will not go to court and instead flee Nevada like he did with his cases in Ohio? It's a misdemeanor. I don't know why he wouldn't just deal with it. But okay. I know you don't care about the likes, but you deserve them, so suck it up, Buttercup. Well, that sucks on up, you know what I'm saying. Merb, do you use beard oil? No, I don't. I probably should. Good afternoon, at least here anyway. Hey, Man in Black, how you doing? Merb, great content. I got to go. I have an exam on section 1983. Well, good luck to you, a la carte. I don't know what that means. What happened in the 70s was social welfare and Planned Parenthood. Well, it's probably more complicated than that. In life, there's always a variety of factors that go into any particular thing. Doesn't the sovereign incentivize single motherhood with all the social support it provides? I don't know. And again, I would not narrow it down to one single thing, because you have to remember that what's going on in the African American community is not going on in the Asian community. So there's got to be other things, and I don't know what they all are. I'm not qualified to talk on it. I'm not a sociologist or anything like that. I can see that there's a problem, but I can't tell you what the problem is or why. So Chilli and Rex sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. You know what? Let's not judge. Okay, no king shaming here. Rex Engelbert is the Nashville police officer. Police officer. Okay. We have a request out for body cam footage. Will be available soon. Oh, that'll be fun to watch. Chalita said he met his father after many tears. I wonder what happened. Well, sometimes men cry, and let's not judge them for it. Rex Engelberg was one of the police officers who went to the school in Nashville and took down the shooter. Okay. I teach high school and community college science, and yes, sadly, I've seen 3rd grade reading levels, which makes teaching biology and chemistry a real struggle. I can imagine. Chilli's case in Ohio was a misdemeanor, and he fled the state. I think he's going to flee Nevada. There is that possibility. ... And I need my glasses. Be right back. That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.